squeeze that in their ears.
Very nice.
Take a good whiff of the What the Podcast in the air.
Stinky.
Happy Gloom June gloom, everybody. Here in the southwest of California,
Love.
we're really soaking it all in. But maybe this will bring a little sunshine to your day. Welcome back
Bad
to
radio
What the
show.
Podcast. Nobody ever promised a good radio show, Andy.
Good.
I'm Ryan,
I'm John.
and together we are
Ryan and John.
on the couch as always, Cara Tafolla, and the lovely, incomparable, ever-present
All right.
Annie the Skovmand.
A little much.
Thank you. Okay, well, no.
No, it was a little much.
Kind of feels like just enough on a day like this.
Really?
I thought you were going to say instead
Is it
of
a dark day for
incomparable,
Annie?
Okay.
I thought you were going to say incompetent.
I thought you were also going to say
No,
that.
I was
you're
like,
incomparable.
Incompetent.
Okay.
Dark day.
You
Dark
heard-
day for Annie
You
and the
heard what
Republican
you
Party.
what you wanted to hear. Yeah, sorry about your ex-president there, Annie.
Yeah, man.
My ex-president.
You're always saying like Trump was my president. You know what I'm saying? She's always saying like
She's always saying it.
like always. Like
Trump
she
is going
won't
to keep
stop.
gasoline in the vehicles, and he's going,
And
keep
he
out.
will.
He's going to
Yep.
make
She's
Alpine
always
great
saying
again.
He's gonna make Alpine great again.
Well, somebody has
Alpine's done been great.
Yeah.
We haven't
to. And they
accepted
can even
any of
keep
them
the
liberals.
maybe keep the MAGA thing too because it's Alpine.
Or maybe just make Alpine great.
Oh my gosh.
That's
I'm
always done.
making that their new license plate holder. Because before it was make mine Alpine. That's just not a catchy phrase.
Make
Shut up.
Make
Shut
mine
up.
Alpine is
No,
great.
MAGA,
Sweet.
way better.
Okay,
Way
brass
catchier.
tacks, people. Let's get down to it. Donald Trump is getting indicted again. That's right. You're not seeing double. A second indictment from the president.
The news article, and I had no idea that indicted was spelled that way.
Yeah. Do you ever?
Indicted.
Yeah,
So-
indictment.
What the heck?
So off the wall.
Indicted. So weird.
I literally was reading and I was like, what the hell is indicted?
No, have you ever said that out loud? Like I said that one time. I was like, oh, this person's getting indicted.
And they're like,
My dad was like, it's indicted.
so
You
slow down.
idiot.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Why isn't it spelled like light?
He had a-
Because the English language sucks.
Yeah, it really
Something
does.
that President Trump will fix if he gets
Yeah,
elected
there she is.
2024.
There
Down
she
with
is.
English.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if you had a bunch of papers, from your presidency just hanging out in your house, would you really keep them in the bathroom? That's my question. They
Well,
they
if
found
that's
in
where
boxes.
he does his reading.
How big is
Apparently.
this bathroom?
It was just a regular sized bathroom in Mar-a-Lago
Trump-sized
somewhere.
bathroom.
Okay,
So,
Well, it's a
Mar-a-Lago
bigger than
size
ours.
bathroom.
Very Trump-sized bathroom.
I don't know.
Some would say the best bathroom.
Is it Trump? He's calling in?
I might keep him in my bathroom if that's where I decide to read.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe that's where he likes his privacy.
Or if you run out of toilet paper, you can just use some classified
You
documents.
think he takes baths? And he reads them in the bath?
I don't
Maybe-
think he could take baths because then his spray tan would come off, right? You can't soak that
Specialized
too long.
mineral water for the spray tan.
Did we ever? At some point, they gave some fake reason on why he's orange.
Did they?
Who's
Yeah.
they? Like
the White House. They
Your
were
friends?
like,
Your friends of
no,
the White
no,
House?
it's a mineral thing. It was some
No
BS
way.
reason because they didn't want to be like, yeah,
it's
he
a
gets
mineral
bad
thing.
spray tans. Some
kinda
mineral
bizarre.
thing.
He was
Not,
just
it's
born
a
in Oompa
mineral
Loompa.
thing. That is so
like some kind of mineral bath going on.
And you know what? Because all this is going on in the news, I've seen a lot of real close-up pictures of him.
Have
He
you?
looks rough.
Aside from the ones on that you have on your wall on your home.
Besides my lock screen is a further
And
rerun
your
of
home
him
screen.
doing
And
a
your
little,
Trump calendar, of course.
a little kind of slightly suggestive high five, but looks a little strange. But a little,
Whoa.
that is my lock
I
screen.
love it.
Rough how? Like rough like he's going through some stuff?
Like-
rough
Well,
like
he's
he's
70.
old?
We
isn't
always
he?
knew. Yeah, we always knew he was orange. We always knew he had a horrible comb over.
Uh-huh.
But when you really look up close, you're like, oh man, he really is in his mid 70s.
Dang.
Except some people in their mid-70s look great.
Yeah.
But isn't
Like
that the thing
Cher.
about presidents, though? Is like they always look awful when they come out of office. Like
Oh, yeah.
Barack
But
Obama
he
had the
looked
same
awful
thing.
going in.
Sure. So I guess
Yeah.
like
In and out.
I guess you think you're just saying he's worse. is
I
all?
don't think he aged with the stress of his presidency because I don't think he had any stress.
I
Because he
didn't,
had people hiding shit for him.
you
then.
know, I got that same vibe when he was president. He
He was
never
like,
seemed
eh.
stressed. He just seemed like he was just hanging out the whole time.
Yeah.
He'd just say crazy
Big
stuff,
AK.
but
he
he
worked.
didn't care about
he
it.
did things.
Okay.
There are lots of things he did.
Okay.
Go ahead. I love this.
There's good people on both sides, I'm sure.
Good people on both sides.
Listen, it was already unprecedented, or you could say unprecedented, that he got
original,
the
Ryan.
first indictment. Yeah, thanks. We didn't workshop that before the show. Don't worry about it. Now he's got 2 criminal indictments. I mean, what happened? Does the guy even get to run for president? Like, do we even get to entertain this guy any longer? Like, what's going on?
Annie?
If George Santos is like,
Okay. He's going to jail, I heard, or he's going to stand trial or something.
yeah, something about some sort of
But
wire fraud.
can he retain his seat technically till the end of his term? I was reading something about that.
Yeah,
Even in jail?
Unless I don't know about in jail. Unless it's not a felony. You can't run as a felon. If it's like a misdemeanor.
So he
if
has
it's a
to be-
misdemeanor, why would he do jail time?
He has to be tried and what do you call it? Like
Found guilty?
convicted, found guilty.
Well, and that's the whole thing with Trump. Like, he has to be convicted of it. But, and correct me if I'm wrong, these are civil charges.
Are they?
not?
I think so.
Because civil charges can't, even if he gets found guilty, it doesn't make him a felon.
I think this second one is like what do you call it though? Like he broke some kind of
Criminal?
not
There's
criminal.
criminal and civil.
No, thank you. By the way, thanks for
There's
that.
a thing called the law, Ryan.
No, but like it was like criminal in the sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
Like
he's going
naughty.
against the country. No, like
Treason?
like treason. Yes, no, absolutely. Like he
Naughty.
stole documents or something.
Criminal
Naughty.
and like,
That's so
and like
weird.
he's being bad and like
Okay,
in
here's
like a sexy way.
former
naughty.
politician Annie Skovmand after spending some time on Capitol Hill. Let's hear it. Go ahead,
Tell
Annie
us.
on treason.
Treason is bad.
It's cool.
Try not to do it, but if you do it more in like a Edward Snowden way and not in like a selling secrets to terrorists way.
Interesting.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Treason's only cool if you do it with the right people.
Yeah, it's only cool when everyone else is doing it.
It's kind of interesting that this
Treason's
is
only
happening.
Cool if you treason against us for the people, not.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
It's all happening right now when that docudrama just came out about Watergate. Did you guys see that?
No.
Yeah.
The White House
I didn't watch
plumbers.
it, but
I haven't
I saw
watched it
it.
either. But Woody Harrelson's in it,
Oh.
and it's
Watergate
about
kind of
the
feels
Watergate
like,
guys.
like it was just like
Watergate.
wasn't that big of a deal, right?
Here's what it came down to, in my view.
Let's hear it.
Give us
It was the insecurity of Nixon.
Yes.
Thinking that he wouldn't be able to win a re-election. He wouldn't be reelected just on him.
Sure.
And so he needed to know what they had against him and what they were going to kind of like, what their, points were
Sure.
for the debate coming up. And so he had his guys who,
Break into the
work
office.
for him. He's like, these are my buddies that
Yeah,
just so
yeah.
happen to work for the federal government.
The White House plumbers, if you will.
And he's like, can you go down to that hotel and check it out? And then they did. And then Forrest Gump caught him.
Right. I love that movie so much. Kind of seems like small potatoes nowadays, right?
Yeah, like now in the fact that was, but the thing is, Nixon did the right thing and stepped down. He was like,
he's like, you know
this
what?
was
Got me,
wrong.
you
This
got
was-
me.
This was wrong of me. I'm
Did
ashamed.
he though? I thought it was more like this country sucks and I resign because you
No.
don't know how high I can fly.
No,
Nice.
it was more like
The best side
they
note of all
they
time.
threatened him with
I'm not a
with.
crook. He's not a crook, Annie. He
He's
told
not a
he
crook.
told us he wasn't
He
a
told
crook.
us. He told us he wasn't a crook.
And Trump
I
also
did-
not a crook.
I did just see
'Cause he told us?
a comedy bit on TikTok, and it was a
Nice.
guy saying he's like, I wish that George W. Bush was president during coronavirus because he would have been like so sweet with it. And he did like a perfect impression of him. He's like, the coronavirus, I've nicknamed it Coco, and we're going to get it, guys. We're going to defeat Coco with everything we got. And it was so sweet. I was like,
Pretty
he
decent
would've-
push.
Yeah.
I like that.
You
Okay,
know
do
me.
Obama. Do Obama. Let me be clear.
Oh, okay.
That was good.
This coronavirus is not going to take our country down.
You turned into Kermit
it
at the
always
end.
goes into Kermit, always.
Frankly, I think we could beat this thing. It's not easy having corona. It's good, right?
Your Kermit is
Yeah, it's
just
good.
one octave away from Obama.
But that's
So
life,
close.
Yep.
you know?
That's
Speaking of
Isn't that crazy?
speaking of Kermit and speaking of suggestive high fives,
oh, geez.
couple of Hitler's best were out in front of
so close, but yet so far.
yeah. What's that? Yeah, well, it kind of makes sense. Nazi protesters, if you can believe it, Nazi protesters out
my
in
gosh.
front of Disney World.
Yeah.
Florida, man.
Florida is going through it. They are.
going through it.
I think now would be a great time for us to think about Florida joining the Caribbean.
Okay.
We just cut that
Say
sucker
bye-bye.
off, push them on into the ocean, let it be an island.
Now, wasn't that kind of California's plan for a while? We were gonna set like a line of dynamite around the border and just break off into the ocean.
I think we still could.
I think we could do
don't
that.
And
know.
I think that
With
would be
Florida.
nice because I would love to pay Arizona prices for beachfront property.
It
Yeah,
says
now
that
there it
protesters
is.
were flying Nazi flags and DeSantis 2024 flags outside of
Ooh.
Disney World.
DeSantis, bad luck.
Not
bad,
not
like
really the
people
guys you want supporting
Like
you.
full on.
Like
Ask
big
not-
swasties.
Ask former
Oh my-
President
Well, yeah,
Trump.
I don't know what
the
a half,
neo-Nazis on
half
your side
Nazi
is
flag
never a
looks
win.
like.
It's just
never
a couple
want
of
the
number
Nazis
sevens.
on your
Full
side.
on Nazi flag out.
Isn't that
What
wouldn't
the
that kind of be a
heck?
wake up call for you if
I-
you're like
Why can
Okay.
we still buy those?
dedicated supporters? Though.
I feel like we should. There, anyone who buys, because you bought that on Amazon or some crazy
Yep,
crap,
yep.
that they should be flagged.
Yes.
Like if you're
Nice.
buying a Nazi, if you're buying a Nazi flag, you deserve to be on the FBI watch.
Yes.
Like you're
Yes.
signing up for that. We just got to keep track of you in case
I'm trying
you
to think of
start
other
acting on
reasons
it.
aside from being a Nazi why you would buy a Nazi flag. But then I thought
None.
my first thought was costume, but then I'm like, what costume are
Yeah.
you gonna be?
Nazi?
with the like who's rocking the Nazi
It's-
costume?
it's-
maybe they're making another
Jeez.
Indiana
It's high
Jones
school,
sequel?
It's high school
Was.
students playing, the Nazis in what's it called?
Sound of
Singing
Music.
Sound of Music.
There you go.
That's
Yes.
the only time.
Yeah,
And-
no Nazis in Singing in the Rain, believe it or not. But
Well, not
Okay.
not known
Not
ones.
yet.
The only celebrity
Okay.
who has spoken out against it.
oh god.
It only happened a day ago.
against it.
Against
oh
the
yeah,
Nazis.
against.
Okay.
They said, "Are
Okay.
you effing kidding me?" on Twitter. Pink.
Pink.
Love her.
Wow, trying to stay
What a queen.
relevant.
She's like, what? Okay.
She's super
Grasping
relevant. Her
for
concert right
dear
now?
life.
Okay,
You're
that
done.
is
Cray,
true.
cray.
I did see that TikTok of her flying through the air.
Her whole concert is just aerial stunts. The
It
whole
is
thing.
crazy.
She's
John, I'll show you that after the in the post show. You'll get to see a clip of that.
crazy.
Listen.
I heard about it. I saw a few TikToks about it.
Go ahead, Annie.
It's always a good move to speak out against the Nazis.
It feels like an easy win
An
for anyone
easy
to be like,
win.
I'm against the Nazis. Like,
And like Ron DeSantis,
Yeah.
go ahead. If I were you, I'd be like, I am against the Nazis.
And the Disney heir
okay.
says that her grandfather is spinning in his grave
Oh.
because of all of this.
Wasn't he a Nazi?
Yeah, well, he definitely. That's kind of the confusing part. Is Walt
He
Disney was
liked it.
super anti-Semitic, not
So
like
maybe he was down
outspokenly
there
Nazi?
spinning, dancing. He was like, "Yeah, the Nazis
Yeah.
back to Disney."
did not care for the Jews too much. That guy, Walt Disney. Listen, I
I
saw
love
something.
they're still trying to work on his image after him being
yeah,
dead.
they're
for
like,
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
would
like-
not
and they
have
need
liked
it.
that.
Listen, I want to speak for Mr. Walt and say that he would hate this.
He would
He's
hate the
spinning.
Nazis.
Yeah, I mean, if a
It's like,
deceased
what?
Walt Disney can speak up against them, I don't know why everybody's not
Yeah.
It's
jumping
not
in.
like they're hanging him inside of Disneyland. Like it's like just clearly a protest outside of Disneyland. So why does we need a quote from
That's what.
from
Can,
Disney's
can we get to the
descendants?
bottom of what they're protesting? Just like pro
Disney?
Ron DeSantis and pro Nazi.
Disney World is leaving. Disney World is leaving Florida.
They
and they're-
are.
and they're protesting.
I think they're
Remember,
probably-
remember they're going to
Oh,
Atlanta.
that's right.
They're
That
going
we
to
should take
Atlanta.
Disneyland and put it somewhere else. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
because they're like a lot of Nazis in Florida. It turns out. And
Turns
they're
out,
like, "Ugh."
well, and now
But
we know it to
also,
be true.
you know, it sucks. Florida, people out there got a lot of money.
You know
Yeah.
what? Florida do
All
love
those
their Disney World.
retirees.
I keep thinking about is there's like a whole group of people that live in houses like within the bounds of Disney World. Like
Sure.
Yeah.
what are they gonna do? Are they moving
They
to
did
Atlanta
talk
too,
about
or-
that. I did hear something
Well,
about
isn't
that.
half of them like they're all part of the college program, so they go wherever Disney goes?
No,
Those
this
poor
is somebody
kids. No,
you
it's
can
like
literally buy a house in the bounds of Disney World and be able to go to Disney World whenever you want. It
That
like
was
part of the whole
the-
thing.
They'll probably still own those houses then.
Yeah,
that
but
was the
Disney World's not going to
original-
be there. So
Wow.
okay, well that seems like
They're not
going to
move their house,
right?
They're not going
Yeah.
to move them.
But like,
with
do
them.
they get like a lifetime pass to Disney World then? I mean,
They can get a lifetime pass to the marsh that will still be there when
Yeah.
they move Disney World.
There's
If-
gotta be
if you want to
something in
go
the
hang out with the
contract.
crocodiles and
that's crazy.
Definitely
they
crazy.
spent a lot of money to live there. That's
That was the original idea of Disney World before it got turned into what it is.
Disney Living
was
Plus.
it would be a perfect. It was literally like utopia where
Yep.
you could come and buy and live within this like perfect city, like Truman Show-esque.
Yep.
Of like the rest of the world will be shut off for you. You'll be Disney every
You
day.
live there? Would you live there?
We did have this conversation just 2 episodes ago. Can you believe
did.
it? Can you believe it? We did talk about Epcot.
We always talk
And,
about Disneyland, Disney World.
Thanks to our sponsor, Disney.
We want
I
to
wish.
make a
Walt.
big shout out to Disney.
No,
Oh.
just Walt.
Disney.
Walt.
Oh,
Spinning
Walt.
thought-
Walt specifically.
He's-
I thought you
What's
guys
that?
didn't get the
Go ahead.
email about
Oh.
the American Nazi Party sponsoring us.
Oh God! Don't even
Whoa.
joke. You know, I saw something. God,
I thought I forwarded that to you.
this
guys.
show is
I didn't forward-
completely unhinged.
Yeah.
I saw
Olivia is
something
spinning
kind
in
of
her
funny.
grave.
If Olivia was on the podcast right now,
Should be
she'd be hating this.
spinning.
I saw something interesting this weekend at the Del Mar Fair.
Nazis?
It's kind of relevant to this. Not Nazis directly, but
Nazi
there's a booth.
adjacent.
You know how
Oh,
at the Del Mar Fair you can buy just about anything. There's a booth for luchador masks. There's a booth for,
Yeah.
shoe cleaner. There's a booth for all kinds of things. There was a flag booth. And if this isn't like the perfect like way to encapsulate capitalism here, is there was a booth that was just selling flags, but you could get any flag. They had a gay pride flag. They had a thin blue line flag. They had not Nazi flags, but they had like Proud Boys flags, the Don't
Yeah.
Tread on Me flags. They had like every rainbow flag iteration you've ever seen. They've had like peace flags. They have American flags. It's funny. Like this guy is profiting off of every ideology
Well, that's
that
like
wants to come buy a flag.
the political T-shirt companies that are like, crooked Hillary, crooked Clinton,
Yep.
and then Make America Great Again. They're like, I saw a documentary once, or like a documentary episode
Mm-hmm.
of the people making them for either side or the same company.
It's
They
crazy.
just they're like, we're just gonna profit off of both you.
Isn't that funny? Like
Yeah.
they're playing us.
I saw a whole thing the other day. It was like a TikTok, and it was like my business. This guy. He's like, I make money off of just like having my finger on the pulse on like what's trending and just like designing a shirt, because
Yep.
Amazon now has this ability where you can create basically like an apparel storefront with your logo,
And they
so,
print it.
Yeah, so
Yes.
all he does is like he designs in Photoshop, and then he like does these this really clever Facebook and Instagram marketing.
Sure.
And then people will buy from the site. He just gets basically checks.
They call it merch on demand.
Crazy.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Kind of feels like those when you show up to a concert and there's the guys out in front that have the like kind of bootleg T-shirts. Like
Nice.
Yeah.
all they probably search, after the first night of the first show of the tour, they see like what kind of graphics they're using, and then just make something just generally similar to it.
Similar.
Sell a bunch of T-shirts, make a bunch of money.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's quick. It's quick money grab. I feel like not a bad idea.
That's
Not a-
crazy.
I'm gonna
Not
go
a bad
into
idea.
this political
idea.
this political election. I'm gonna do it.
I think that's
Both
good.
sides.
This political election, interesting thing that's happening. Pence is running against Trump.
Oh, that's right.
You think he's got a chance?
No shot. He's
No.
got
No
shot.
way. I feel like by the end of his presidency, they were like Trump
you're talking about
supporters were like
Trump.
anti-Pence.
Oh yeah. Okay, you're talking about Pence. I don't think.
Has a chance.
Well, I. Think,
Oh no!
I
Do you think?
the
Do you think
problem
either
is-
one of them has a chance? I feel like they're
hope
I don't know,
not.
they're
man.
going for the same carrot.
I
You know?
think we need new characters. Bring them in from anywhere else.
Okay.
Enter Ron DeSantis.
Also,
Yeah.
Ron DeSantis.
That is crazy too.
He would have the John Cena soundtrack behind him.
He's running, by the way.
I know.
So that's I mean that's
Well,
pretty
he's
hard.
not running for
Like,
long.
Do Democrats have to just vote for Joe Biden again? Like, is that just like the
Yes.
thing we have to do
I
again?
think they thought. I think their idea was pair Harris with Biden to make her like
Yes.
likability go up.
Yeah, but she's
and
gone
then,
down.
Well, yeah, and then that completely backfired because I fully think that they were ready for Harris to be their 2024 ticket runner.
Yeah,
and then
she'll never.
Yeah, her stats have like plummeted.
They hate her even more.
Come
they-
on,
they
a
hate
woman
her.
in the White House, crazy.
Not even that a woman. She just is like not. I've heard she can't keep staff for more than 3 weeks at a time.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
People keep quitting.
When I worked adjacent to her office, I didn't work like in her office, but her staff was amazing.
That's the whole rumor right now is that she has like a ton of turnover with aides and advisors because like they all say she's like awful to work with.
Oh,
She's just like this is like rude. I guess I don't know.
I
the
think, but
details.
I think you have the same rumors about AOC that she's like rude and awful and pushy. I think if you're going to be a woman in that field, you have to be awful.
I'm not saying they're
pushy,
on base at all. I mean, who
period.
knows? I don't know the exact reason. I just know that she didn't have
What I'm hearing
likability
you
is all.
say is that women don't have rights.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
That's the unfortunate thing is it falls into that all of the stereotypes, right?
Yeah.
Because then they're like, oh yeah, what is she on her period? Like all the same stuff
Oh.
they'd said about Hillary Clinton,
Yeah.
like just lame and easy, like pandering.
I
You
had
know?
a conversation at work today, and we were talking about Navy SEALs, and the person I was talking to was like, I don't think women can be Navy SEAls.
Okay.
And he wasn't trying to make it sexist, but I was like, oh, what, you're saying women don't have rights? He goes, no, I just never heard of women being in the Navy SEAL. And I go, really? A woman could be a Navy SEAL? Looked it up.
No.
Never has there been a female
Really?
Navy SEAL. Never.
Just like from a technical
Dang.
Yeah.
standpoint.
Yeah.
Oh, be real.
We looked it up, and it was like, no women Navy SEAls. And I was like, oh.
Yikers.
Yeah.
And then he made a comment, which I, of course, twisted his words.
Of course.
And he was like, well, I'm sure there's like a lot of things that that women are doing. And I was like, yeah, like cooking for the Navy SEAls. And
Yeah,
like
in the galley.
cleaning for the Navy
No,
Probably
SEAls.
doing the Navy SEALs laundry.
Probably making more baby Navy SEAls, Navy
Shoot.
so
cups.
rough. That's so rough.
Got them making
Gosh.
Because that's what women can do to
pups.
serve their
making more
country.
pups.
If you want to help America, women have children.
That's from the
Let's
desk of
go.
Annie Skovmand. Just want to make that
Wow.
clear. This does not reflect the views of What the Podcast.
Running mate with with Ron DeSantis.
With Ron DeSantis.
DeSantis and Skovmand.
Now, that's a
I would
platform.
take his
That
last
is
name. I
ticket.
can't run by my name.
You would
That
take
It'd
it.
have
is
to be my
ticket.
husband's name.
Oh, yeah. So you have to find a husband first.
Find a husband, because I
We'll leave it
God,
blank for now. We'll just call it
a
DeSantis.
single woman running.
No.
Dang.
No.
Not heard of.
Well, speaking of unheard of, no. Speaking of,
No.
What the hell are
Pass.
you talking about?
I haven't unheard of.
go ahead, Akira.
The Tonys were this week.
Oh, that's
Never
true.
heard of it.
We're still
For
suffering
those of you who don't know,
the Tony Award.
Tonys.
Play a sad song.
Oh.
Play a sad song.
They are the
That's
musical
not a sad
theater
song.
Sorry.
awards.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
Okay, that's the wrong one.
It worked.
We're still suffering the consequences, the fallout of the writers' strike.
The Broadway.
Because the Tony Awards, no writers.
Nope.
No writers.
It originally wasn't even supposed to be broadcast either, but they came to a deal with like Paramount Plus and
Of course, we got to make money.
whatever.
Got to
Did you
make money.
Did you watch it?
Yes,
We
they
did watch it. It was on TV. Not great.
Traders.
Not. Oh
Got
no,
a
we.
bunch of traders.
What are you talking
Scabs.
about? No,
I
we
thought
didn't.
it
got
was-
a couple of
I
scabs.
didn't
and
work
then
on
just
it.
do
I didn't
it.
go
I
to it.
kind of liked it better. The
Hey-
Tonys for me, I'm
Your
like,
view is your dollar.
Hey, interns,
Dang, that's
interns,
right.
can you report them?
Yeah.
Report them.
Okay.
Scabs.
Thank you.
I
Bunch of
kind of
freaking
liked
scabs.
it because it was straight to the point. You go
Love
up,
it.
you introduce the category, you see a performance from a best musical nominee, and then you keep going.
I thought it was kind of
great.
cringy.
Who was
personally.
what musicals
So-
have happened?
So Ariana
Awesome.
first, Ariana DeBois, who also hosted last year, she hosted this year. The whole opening.
You remember that
was-
girl that did the rap?
She
Angela
was
Bassett
originally
did
on
the thing.
Hamilton, and then she was in the movie of West Side Story as Anita. But she starts it out. She's in a dressing room. There's a giant book that she opens, and it's a huge stack of paper, nothing written on it. Closes it. It says Tony's 2023 script. The entire opening, a huge dance number. No singing, no talk. It was freaking awesome. It was so good.
But I
Was that
thought it's
awesome?
kind of.
Yes.
That doesn't sound.
I
It kind
awesome
of
at
feels
all.
like an
It was
FU to the
great.
writers.
That's kind of how I felt.
Yeah, that's
personally.
a little
Oh, I
rude.
like
But I'm
it.
like,
it kind of
okay,
feels like a we don't need you writers.
So if there's no writers, like
No
how
writers,
do
so
they-
we'll dance.
Like who came up with the concept? If they're like somebody has to write it.
Well, yeah, they came out with the nominees way before this writer strike even happened.
No, I'm saying like to have a dance number to pick the people. Like was it just? I guess it's just producers.
It's producers, yeah.
It's just kind of weird.
I don't know. I
But
don't feel-
okay,
not
to
my
answer your
Tonys.
question, the musical is nominated.
Wasn't great.
There were a couple new ones this year. There was
Arguing
one called
perspectives.
And Juliet, jukebox musical about Romeo and Juliet. There was one called Kimberly Akimbo, which is about a woman who has an
Oh,
aging,
Annie, you actually would have been interested. in
an
that
aging disorder who
you
at
can
the
tell
age of
there's no writers
4.
because these titles suck.
Oh my gosh. At the age of 4, she looks like she's 16.
Benjamin
she's
Button.
in
I
high
got
school.
it.
So
Okay,
she's in
cool.
high school and she looks like she's 90.
They're
Pretty much.
Broadway,
They're recycling a lot of
Broadway
stuff.
It's about
writers,
her.
not union writers.
There was a show
Really?
called New
I
York,
explain
New
that to
York.
you.
New York, New
You
York.
can sell those
Original.
Yeah, that one looked fine.
What?
They remounted Camelot. They remounted
Pass.
Be original.
Parade. They
Pass.
remounted Funny Girl.
Pass.
Leah Michelle can't
Oh,
read.
I know.
What
Can't
else?
read.
Yep.
That is funny.
I
The
think that's
funniest
it.
part of Funny Girl.
But
She doesn't need a script.
what I was
Can't
getting
read
to
it anyway.
was also unheard of. The musical
unheard ofs.
Shucked, which is all about corn.
God,
The
the arts are dying.
Guys, I hate
the
to break it to
actor.
you. These
Do you
are dying.
remember? Do you remember Alex Newell, who was in Glee?
Oh
It
my
was
gosh,
the-
I remember
Yes.
Alex.
Tell me what his name
Annie, don't be so freaking obtuse for 2 seconds and listen.
It's Alex.
Jesus.
Alex,
Who the hell is Alex?
Alex
Real trick
Newell won in the category for Best Actor in a Musical and is the first non-binary actor to ever win a Tony Award.
I really don't remember this
Big
person.
win.
Alex,
Isn't that cray? Alex Newell was in when
Annie
they
doesn't
were
watch
in
shows,
Glee.
Kara. I'm sorry
I
to tell
watched
you.
Glee. I was in theater.
You're
I'll show you.
shut
You'll
your
recognize
poor
them.
mouth.
What was his name?
Annie's
What was
be
their
like,
name? Sorry, what was their
Alex. Ugh, you can tell there's no writers. Who wrote that name? Like, what the heck are you
Jeez.
Not
talking about?
original.
Alex Newell.
On-
Kind of in the later
Yes,
seasons.
Yes,
Wait, on
they
Glee-
played Mercedes.
Okay.
No, wrong.
No, wrong.
No?
All right, well, that's what I need to
Okay,
know.
and Annie's
Oh,
racist.
now I'm racist.
Jeez.
That looked like the person who played Mercedes.
No.
Okay, what did they
Okay,
play?
then I don't remember Alex Lee. But you know what? Good for you. Proud of you for winning that, Tony.
Yeah. Well, way to make up for it. Racist.
I don't remember who they played the name, but they were in like the last season of Glee, kind of when everyone kind of stopped.
Okay, then
Oh,
I
then-
definitely,
yeah, well, I
I
didn't
definitely
watch
don't know
that.
who they are then.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But pretty cool for the Tonys,
Pretty cool. That is cool.
especially during Pride Month.
Pride
It's
Month.
Pride Month. Yeah, and you guys, you freaking bigots, didn't say anything last week about it.
no.
This is Annie Skovmand. Go ahead.
No.
Mixing up characters on Glee.
Annie.
Go ahead. This is
You freaking
why we're
bigots.
Hey, okay, so
I mentioned it and you cut it out.
this is kind of an interesting thing
first
on
of all,
Pride Month.
That's not true. You didn't say anything last week.
Oh, really?
We didn't cut anything
you can
out.
see the cut very clearly where I go, hey guys, it's
it cuts.
Obvious cut. Okay, so you guys following this Bud Light thing?
Yeah.
With
yeah,
the beer.
they're Bud Light. What a bad move.
No, good. What are you talking about?
Good move.
No,
Good
they
move.
they rescinded it.
They rescinded
Wait,
what?
Oh my gosh.
They did?
So they partnered with Dylan Mulvaney, who
Dylan
is
Mulvaney.
a transgender woman, and
On TikTok.
does day in the life of being a woman or how many
Yes.
days of being a woman, and then people were freaking outraged.
Yes.
Bud Light fans everywhere were like, "F this! Budweiser doesn't believe in our rights, and
Exactly,
they didn't."
exactly.
You know, they are so
They hate
pissed.
the kids.
Very-
Dot,
And
dot,
the
dot,
president
you know.
of Budweiser put out a statement basically being like, I should have been more, you know,
What?
understanding of the people who support my company.
Oh.
Literally rescinded
missed
the
that.
shit. And
Bummer.
didn't like
What
outwardly
is this
be
show even
like,
about?
didn't outwardly be like, hey, you know what, we take it back. But was kind of like, you know what, I'm sorry for not thinking of our patrons and, you know.
Oh my
literally,
God.
Yeah,
That's
so
kind
like,
of
bad move.
That's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek statement, though, right?
was
Sorry, I
one
didn't
of-
consider that everyone that drinks Budweiser is like bigots.
Freaking bigots.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I just saw a thing. I bring it up because Garth Brooks made a big statement. Who's like a pretty
Country.
notable country
Country.
star, was like is in full support.
Oh,
Turns
good.
out, total liberal guy. Garth Brooks is.
Hell yeah,
Talk
Garth
about like
Brooks.
not representing your
But
audience.
that's,
I mean,
so is Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton is very.
and who's
true.
the other? Chris Stapleton. I hear
Dar-
took a similar
Dolly Parton,
stance.
I don't want to speak on her behalf. She's
No,
pretty good
go ahead and
about
speak on
not
her behalf.
not like vocalizing any political views. But if you look at the things she's done, you know, literacy
Oh no,
programs.
she's
and
fully ally. She's like love and
she's
acceptance.
she's
and
ally, but
I-
she's not. She doesn't.
She's not.
She doesn't say she's a liberal or a
Outspoken
Republican.
about
That's
it.
what I
Oh,
was
yeah.
trying to say. She hasn't ever committed to say.
She
that.
rides the line.
But
She rides the
anyways,
line
Garth
beautifully.
Brooks kind of made a statement that was like, yeah, you know, freaking accept
Well, he's
everybody.
opening
Love
a
is
bar,
love.
and he said,
He's like,
his
oh, I'll
first thing
put
he said,
Bud Light, I
"I'm
don't
gonna
care."
have Bud Light. And
They're like,
but what about?
But what about,
the
the
Democrats?
transgenders?
And he's like, what are you talking about?
Who cares?
Love,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what? That's
cool.
a good move because I feel like when celebrities are too hardcore on either side, like Chris Pratt getting super freaking Republican, I'm like,
Did he?
Yeah,
What?
he's
Oh,
always
yeah.
been super Republican,
Yeah,
but
he's pretty
he
Republican.
got he got really outspoken at one point. He's kind of chilled out now.
I just always think that everyone in Hollywood is.
He's
liberal.
like
But
he's like
and-
a Mark Wahlberg type where like he's super Catholic, right? Like
Yeah,
he
he's super
kind of took
religious.
that stance.
But it's Christianity, isn't it?
Yeah, he's
It's-
Christian.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it's that
you're
kinda
right,
thing-
you're
His
right.
bag is like
Mark
Christianity.
Wahlberg's super Catholic.
Yeah,
But
I
it's
knew
that kind of thing where I'm like, I feel the same way when they go hardcore liberal, like, the Republicans. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
like, don't make this a political thing. You're literally in the business of entertainment. Now shut up and dance, monkey.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Look,
No
I
script,
think
dance, go.
No
I
One,
think
two,
that's
Jeez, Annie.
no script dance. God,
You're like, no
typical
wonder there's
Annie-
no writers.
typical
It's all a
Annie
bunch
L
of dancing
I will
bullshit.
say those titles suck.
I would agree with you to an extent. I think when it's like when we're talking about people and their rights and like their place in society,
Oh,
like being
well,
accepted,
yes.
I think it's hard to be like, I don't really do politics. It's like
okay, my
okay,
thing
but-
is I don't feel like that's really a political issue.
yes, agreed.
Like human rights shouldn't be on the basis of politics. It should just be a God-given right that everyone understands. That
I'm fully
we
in
have-
agreement with that.
We have the right to live.
That's
and
why I
not be
think it's kind of
persecuted.
an L take when we're talking about like, trans rights or like gay people's rights. Like,
yeah. So what
and it's
I'm
like,
hearing
I just
say
don't- I
is
don't
you
really
don't
get-
want there to be a Pride Month.
Jeez.
You don't think?
okay, is that what you're hearing?
Big-
That's a
it?
spin. That's a
Okay.
spin.
Big, say what?
Okay.
Make it say what?
What?
Dang it. That was so good. That's a good comeback. I miss that.
Not bigot say what? That's a good comment.
No, just like
Come
the
on.
same
Literally,
one
if
comment where
Olivia
you're
was
like,
still with
you're like,
us,
idiot
she
says
would be
what?
rolling in her grave. She, rest in peace.
Rest in
But
peace.
unfortunately,
Power.
she's dead.
Well, a couple
She's
days
dead.
ago, another thing that is a great thing during Pride Month
Let's hear
in Tennessee. We wish it was in Florida. In Tennessee, a good thing is that the governor revoked the ban on
Okay.
drag performers and performances,
Yes.
specifically saying that
Yes.
the law was way vague and
Okay.
very broad.
Okay.
Which is exactly what it was.
You literally read it and it's like, it makes no sense. It made no sense.
Okay, so but what does that mean? Are they going to hit us with a more directed?
Yeah,
law?
they're going in the.
They're like, you know what? That
That
was way too vague. Let's be more specific.
They're like, as soon as the
People
writers
that
strike
do
us up,
drag
we're gonna
will
have a
be
new
murdered.
bill.
I know. I hope that doesn't happen, but that's a good thing for Tennessee.
Weird moves getting kicked around.
Yeah.
Well, everything like when Roe v. Wade got overturned, that's what everyone's like. Hell, we can go back on that shit. Okay, let's roll. And
Totally.
I'm like, whoa, guys.
That
Was
did
this in the meeting you guys had up in
bigots,
Alpine?
chill.
Somebody said up to, oh, we
First of all,
can go
those
back
are
on this.
Secret
make
meetings.
Alpine, make mine Alpine,
Secret.
make mine Alpine.
Secret.
Wait,
You
what's
have
the
to
saying?
join
What's the saying?
goddamn Alpine.
No, the
No.
license plate one you were talking
Oh,
about.
Make mine
MAGA.
Alpine.
no,
Make Alpine great again.
No, what was the one you actually saw on an
Make-
No, it's the little slogan. Make mine Alpine.
Make mine
Yeah.
Alpine. I just wanted to make sure it was correct. I don't believe a word he says.
That's good because he is a bigot. And
What's
he said
OB's
Okay.
like? I don't
Okay.
know. What's OB's little saying?
Make OB weird again.
Okay, yeah.
That
that's
one
true.
I was seeing
That's
a lot
true,
of
yeah.
lately.
As if it's not
OB.
weird. That's funny, like weirder, right? Because it's already pretty weird. I would
What
say.
do you mean?
OB's weird is what I'm
I
saying.
don't get it.
Okay, you do get it. I just said it.
Wow.
You ever spent any time in OB? John?
This feels like a long time.
I do love
Gosh.
OB.
Freaking typical Annie shit. We can't shorten the podcast anymore without her being like,
Okay, I have
"So,
something.
show over, eh?
I wanted to talk to you guys about something I had experienced today, and it brought me back to as a childhood experience. And I wanted to see if you have any fun stories regarding this feeling.
Okay,
So
let's
I
hear it.
broke something. I'm going to save the actual story of what I broke for the post show. So if you are, if you watch the show pretty regularly, head on over to Patreon, pay the $4, hear the story, have a good time.
$4
lots of
for a
laughs.
whole
you
month
want-
of extra
Right.
content.
And
Right.
you will hear who John and Ryan are voting for in this next election.
Okay.
You can
Deal.
vote.
No.
Go ahead.
Pass.
If we get to 100
We're not even-
Patreon
by the way,
subscribers,
no.
they will be writing in Bernie Sanders.
Okay, I'm
Okay,
gonna do that
anyways.
anyways. Go ahead, John.
Anyways, I broke something this week, or it was actually today. Sorry, I broke something, and I had this like immediate fear, like childhood fear, that did this ever happen to you where you're like, you break something on accident, or maybe you like do something you're not supposed to do, and you're like, how do I hide this, or how do I pretend like this didn't happen?
Oh,
Did you? Like,
let
do
me-
you remember that when you were a kid though? Like it was. So
Oh,
much,
yeah.
it was such
Like,
a bigger
caught.
deal when you were a kid.
Gotcha.
But like now that
Yes.
you're an adult, like who cares, right? Like you'll just pay for a new one.
I
or
kind of
whatever,
always
you know?
wanted to do that thing where I like punched a hole in the wall and like you put a frame over it, like in the movies.
Oh, I did tons of that growing up, but it like took me.
Hey,
It took me back.
Pause. So many things to unpack here.
Go
First
ahead.
of all, can we go to Cara saying she's always wanted to punch a hole in the wall?
So
Not
that-
really
no,
the
so that she
punching
could
part,
cover it
but
up
so I
with
can
a
cover up
picture.
with like a frame.
That's
And
like
then-
some Disney
It's the
Channel.
cover-up
And then
job.
the
antics.
the next thing I want to touch on is John going, yeah, I've done that tons of times.
Oh yeah, I can tell you. I
He's
can tell
wanted
you
to do
countless
that.
stories to do that. What
Of
I
you
did.
punching a hole
No,
in the
not
wall?
punching the hole in the wall, but like one time, my brother and I, he was showing me how to swing, like how to properly play tennis because I was starting tennis, and he was swinging the racket in the living room, and it clipped the couch, and the tennis racket perfectly the handle went into the wall, punching a hole into the wall, and we put a like a white piece of tape over it, like a white. Like almost like medical tape over it, and nobody knew. And then my mom, like years later, was sitting on the couch
Found it.
going, "What's that right there? Like that doesn't look right." And she went up, and then we told the story. It was like years later, and she wasn't
That
mad.
is hilarious.
And
That's
because
funny.
that's the
That's
law,
classic.
right? Like when you do something, if you hide it long enough,
There's
it
an
becomes a
expiration
funny
date.
5 years
story.
later,
There definitely
5 years
is,
later,
right?
it's funny.
Yeah.
I definitely to answer your question. I
Yeah.
get that feeling sometimes with like getting home late. Like I haven't had a curfew.
Really?
I haven't had a curfew in probably like 10 years,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
But it's like sometimes I'll get home late and I'm like I get that weird feeling of like, "Oh shoot, it's 10:30. Wait a minute." Like
No, Dee and Dennis are there and they're waiting. They're like,
yeah.
where the hell
And my
were
cats
you?
are
Where
like,
were
"What's
you?"
up? What's up?"
Oh, you're just gonna hang out all night?
I
huh?
just imagine Dee with her little paw turning the light on.
Yeah.
She's like,
Do you know what time it is, sir? Nobody ever said
I don't know.
that
You
to
guys
me,
have
but-
any of those stories? I just
Oh.
that feeling was so like visceral. Like I felt like in my core going like, like how do I pretend like this didn't happen, or how do I like? And then I was like, this is dumb, and I ended up like, it was so stupid.
I hate breaking things. I think the most recent thing I broke was a while ago. It was one of our like just glass cups, like
Yeah.
the dinky little like Target glass cups. I was washing dishes and it just dropped, and I see it and I'm like, I feel bad throwing it away. Like I wish I could fix this. And I'm like, oh, goodbye.
It is,
cup.
yeah.
Sad.
yeah.
I guess that changed because I feel like now I'm like, oh shoot, like that's a cup.
Yeah,
like,
now I have to buy
that's one of
another
our
one.
cups.
Yep.
Like
No,
growing
yeah,
up, I was like, oh well, whatever.
me
Broke a
clarify.
cup. Like
It
we've got
was-
more cups.
you
it
don't
was
care.
something. That,
Yeah,
like,
you don't care about the cup,
It was something-
ratio.
It was something in our apartment, so I felt like it was one of those things where I knew I'd have to tell Jordan about it. Which
You were
is
afraid of
kind
Jordan.
no,
Oh,
not necessarily.
got it.
It
You
was
have,
like,
like, a
one of
mom
those
complex
thoughts,
with her?
you know. Well,
Weird.
I guess that's the difference. Maybe is that. You know, it's not like you just broke something of yours because that wouldn't bother me. But like
Right.
when you break something that's like mutual or shared, you have to like tell that person. Like it's just, like that weird feeling of like I don't want to have to tell them like
Dang.
I
I
made
don't
this
think-
mistake or I made this. You know,
I
whatever.
don't think I've broken anything of yours. I don't think so.
You want
My
to
heart.
confess anything
Yeah,
now?
sometimes.
Some,
Have I
yes.
broken anything of yours?
Wait, hold on. My heart. And Kara goes, yeah, sometimes.
I don't think
And?
I've broken many things.
So good.
I've stained things.
Annie, do you have like a fear complex, like a parent's like looming fear over you? Answer the question. Okay, come on.
Just answer the question. Go ahead.
I remember the exact day when I had it was like a hand mirror, and I had a friend over, and I had it on my floor because I was a trash person, and I had it on my floor.
Right, was.
And I stepped on it accidentally, and it completely shattered the mirror. And I picked up my friend, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, this is my mom's, and she was like, and it was like a $5 mirror, like it wasn't like a fancy, it wasn't
And
an
your mom's
heirloom.
alive.
And my mom's alive, and
So she has
and
plenty
I
more
like
mirrors.
looked at my friend, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna hide it. And my friend was like, or you could just tell her you accidentally stepped on it. And it was like,
Right.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
It's that,
yeah.
right?
and
It's
then I went
exactly the
downstairs and I
feeling.
said, Mom, I accidentally stepped on this. She was like, oh, okay, thanks. And I was like, because
What a
I fully
weenie.
was ready for the rest of my life for her to be like, where the hell is my mirror? And I'd be
Right.
like, weird, haven't seen
which
it.
is kind of fun.
I broke
Haven't seen
a
it.
microphone at Legoland during Christmas time.
Well, that's
The
like,
wire fully
no.
ripped out of the receiver.
but how did you do that? You just pulled on
I
it?
was just
Hold
changing,
string.
and
Oh, that
it
guy.
just
oh
broke.
my gosh, do they
And I
know?
went up and I was like, it broke. And they were like, whatever, they're old. I was like, okay.
Such a feeling of relief.
Mm.
What did Jordan say? Was she pissed? Yeah.
Are we
She got
saving
you.
this for the
No,
post
she
show?
wasn't pissed. No,
She
she
was
wasn't pissed. She was actually like any normal would have been like, okay, yeah, like
Well,
obviously
it's
you
hard
made a
to be
mistake.
mad
Like,
at you
it's
when
not a
you're
big deal.
sobbing.
Yeah, it was like full on, like it was like uncontrollably. But as I was talking to her, I like felt myself like
Rambling.
kind of rambling, but also like kind of being like, this is kind of like dumb, you know, because I was like, hey, this happened, and I was like, it looks worse than it is,
and
but
you don't
like,
mind when she spanks you.
and
like,
she, Annie, shut the hell up.
Blast past it. Blast past it. Keep going.
That's it. I mean, that's the show right there, folks. We want to thank our Patreon supporters as well as Texas Roadhouse for all of your
that's
support
right.
on this show.
TRH.
And hey, check us out in the post show.
John, finish that story on the post show.
I will.
Oh,
Oh,
finish
we'll figure
that,
out what John broke.
and we'll
And
start
it
gonna have
wasn't
some-
Jordan's heart.
I'm
sweet
starting to
little
realize
treats.
it's actually way bigger than I'm making it out. It's actually pretty serious. But anyways,
Oh,
I was
Tune-
like
tune in.
underplaying it, and I'm like, wait, it's kind of serious actually. But anyways, go
John.
ahead.
Well,
in.
let's find out.
killed your
On the
dog.
couch as always, Cara Tafolla, Andy the Skovmand. I'm Ryan.
I'm John.
And we'll see you next week on What the Podcast. Hey. Hey. Rat-a-dee, wow.
Jarring, huh, Olivia?